Guys, welcome back to a new video. So today I wanted to talk about the new era of Fear. I always say the new era of Fear. I never mean the new era. I mean like the rebooted era, the post Erickson seasons 4 to 8. And I wanted to have a little talk about them. I know season 8 isn't fully out, so maybe there'd be something to add to this list today. But I have just 4 kind of points with a little bit of detail in each of them about what makes the new era, or if I ever refer to the new era, that's what I mean. But what makes the new era good? Because I hate on it a lot. I really do, but there are people out there that like it. And so I wanted to go over about 4 or 5 points that kind of would be a reason on why people might like this era. Personally, I don't, and these ideas, I look at them and I think it probably makes it somewhat watchable, but in no way do I like this era. Season 8's looking quite good though. And season 6 isn't the worst, but by no means are they any good. But I don't know, maybe I like season 8. But we will get on with point number 1. So my first point's a little bit weird. It's not really about the actors or the screenwriting or anything, but it's the intro. I really do like the intro from season 6, 7, and 8. Season 4 and 5, I don't really like it. And I think the intro in series 6, 7, and 8 are actually really nice. I think especially sometimes with the music changing, like the last intro on season 6 is really nice, where like Teddy's maniac music, even at least, I don't know if it'll change, but at the time, Alicia's intro, or the picture with Alicia is the front promo thing of my YouTube. I don't like them in the regards of it kind of tells you everything that's going to happen in the episode or who the episode focus is going to be right like that. Like, we don't find that out. But I think it's a nice intro. It's short, probably too short to ever skip, but I wouldn't ever think of skipping it, even if I wanted to. And I think the music's great, how it slightly changes, and it does give an idea about the episode, which in some way is a good thing. So for point number 2, I have to have my list because I'm going to forget, so I need to keep referring back to it. But the characters. Now, I know what you're going to say, like, if you know me on my channel. You're going to say, well, you complain about, like, Morgan and Grace to no end of avail. And I agree, I absolutely can't stand them. But there are a couple of characters that have been alright, in my opinion. And if it's some characters, for example, I'll start with June. So, June, I like in season 6 and season 8. I didn't like her in season 4 and 5, especially season 4, she was infuriating with all this name changing and sneakiness. But in season 6, I thought June was alright, and especially when she killed Virginia, that was a moment that everyone loved, and I'm glad that she got that moment. And it was rightly so that she was the one to kill Virginia, because her daughter, as we learn, it's Dakota's daughter, ends up killing her husband. And Virginia also was the one that kind of split them up and ruined the wedding day and all that stuff. I mean, look, they decided to get married on the same day they were going to be taken. That's season 5's fault. That's, that's not June's fault. Season 7, I don't remember. I know that she was, like, in the tower. I think she was alright, but so far from what we've seen of her in season 8 as well, her little episode, episode 2, I liked her in that. So, season 6 and 8, I liked her. But, like, season 4, 5, and 7, not the biggest fan. But, that's what I mean when I say some characters will have some moments. Dwight and Sherry, I like Dwight and Sherry all throughout. I think that if I didn't like them, it would be their story. But I think that compared to The Walking Dead, from how we saw them at the end of The Walking Dead, when they were like, mainly Dwight, when he was kind of a changed man, I like how Fear is just fully him being nice and a better person. And I agree. I don't think that Dwight is too out of the ordinary. I think he feels like Dwight. I think he feels normal. And I always say that he was definitely... There should have never been any crossover characters. But I would say that Dwight and Sherry, especially Dwight, feels natural. And I really do enjoy his presence in Fear the Walking Dead, the rebooted era. John Dory and John Dory Sr., I also like them. I have no problems with them throughout. I think everyone likes John Dory. I'm not sure if people like John Dory Sr., but I personally never had any problems with him. I really did think he was alright. So, they're 2 good characters. Madison, I liked her in season 8. And again, anything I talk about season 8, God knows what could happen from the rest of season 8A and the whole of season 8B. But from what I've seen, Madison has been relatively okay. There have been some moments... like when she said, I'm not the leader you deserve. Like, that's ridiculous, Madison. You are, by far, what we've seen in season 3, the leader that we deserve. But, she said that, and, like, that's not her character. But the violence and her will in season 8 definitely is good. But Madison wasn't any good in season 4, in my opinion. I thought maybe I know people do like season 4, or at least season 4A. So look, maybe Madison is okay in season 4. She is also not the worst in season 7, to be fair, especially realizing what Padre can do to you. And then, like I said, season 8, Madison has been relatively consistent all throughout, but I really do like her violence and her will in season 8. Alicia, really only season 6, because she was just annoying in season 5. Season 4, again, she was annoying, but not because she was, like, bad or anything, but, like, her willingness to not kill Charlie and help Charlie. Like, Charlie is, like, the reason her mother's dead and the whole stadium's dead, the direct reason that her brother's dead, and she's gonna take Charlie to the beach. Like, it's not even funny. It's really annoying. And then Alicia just doesn't really do much else at the end of season 4, from what I can remember. In season 5, she won't kill a walker. Season 6 is a highlight year. Season 7, she's not very good. She's obsessed with following a walker that's going to take him to Padre. Like, no. And season 8, God knows if she'll be there. She probably won't be, and if we do see her, she won't be there for a long time. So, really, season 6 is the only season where I can say Alicia felt nice. She felt similar to how she felt in the old era. So, season 6 Alicia is a character that does make, the new era good. And finally, there might be some more characters and stuff, but I wanted to mention Althea. I do not like Althea, and again, this is a positive video. I don't like Althea, but I thought that what they did with her in season 7, where she smashed the camera, I thought that was great. Even though we had to deal with the camera for so many seasons before that, and what happened in season 7 does not make up for it. But it was really nice and satisfying to see Althea smash the camera finally. And even though I hated it all throughout, her last moments made me breathe and say, do you know what? Althea finally got a grip. She finally stopped being the camera woman, and do you know what? At least her arc ended quite well. So on the character-wise, again, some characters I liked consistently, some were terrible. Obviously, I didn't mention certain characters. There are loads of characters I didn't even mention, because no point in the show were they good, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, those characters, I guess, make the new era decent. This point's a little thinner, but I still think it has grounds to understandably say that the new era fee is good. But I think the concepts, I talked about this in the wasted potential, but I think season 7 had loads to live up for. It followed season 6 that wasn't that bad, and it was going to be almost like Fallout, like a hybrid between The Walking Dead and Fallout. Like, it sounds so exciting. Only season 7 really did flop and fail. But I think that the radiation and kind of Fallout-esque vibe is really, really interesting. I love Fallout as well. So it is great to see, like, I mean, look, there's the Vault Boy mask. When I pre-ordered Fallout 76, which, if you all know, we obviously don't talk about that, do we? But yeah, I think that the radiation was really good. I think season 5 dealt with it. This is the one thing that I will give it a gold mark for. But I think seasons 5 take on radiation was absolutely amazing, because I always thought, you always think, like, radiation places, for example, need to be maintained, and if they're not maintained and people are dead, then surely the radiation's going to leak and explode. And Grace in season 5 and the radiation was so good. It was a question that, like, would happen all over, like, a question that answered, because it would happen all over the place, because there'd be multiple power plants, and the fact that it focused the story well over a simple concept that really pushed the story forward, gave a time limit, and this is coming from season 5 of the show. I really, really did like that, and it answered a big question, because you always got to think, like, won't big buildings collapse? Won't radiation leak, for example? Won't, you know what I mean? I actually think that's a really good concept. And I think season 8, this is dodgy, again, because season 8 is not even out, but a possible cure arguably can be a good thing. Some people might absolutely hate the fact there's a chance of a cure. Some people might love it. But in terms of season 8 dealing with a cure, well, already practically confirmed that Alicia probably isn't dead, and confirmed that, Flinch, or whatever Sherry and Dwight's son is called, has survived a bite, shows that there actually is a chance for a cure. So that's another concept that this show has dealt with that I think makes it watchable. Reason number 4 absolutely has to be the villains. Now, Fear the Walking Dead, again, the new era, I'm just going to tell you from now on, if I ever talk about Fear the Walking Dead, I'm not talking about seasons 1 to 3. So I'm going to make that clear now. But Fear the Walking Dead has had some of the worst villains absolutely awful. I mean, the Reapers is that the name from season 4A, the Martha from season 4B. Season 5A didn't really have a villain, it was radiation and like leaving the area. I actually thought that was kind of clever. And then you also kind of had Logan as well, to be fair. You had like Logan, which Logan was kind of like a worker or whatever for Virginia. And before we then had Virginia, then Teddy, Strand, and Padre. Now, I think that half them villains are actually really good. I really do like Virginia. Virginia shined more in season 6, but definitely I think was okay in season 5. But definitely Virginia's like moment was season 6, and she was great in season 6. Teddy was amazing. Everyone likes Teddy. I mean, like, you wish he didn't die. He was insane, but it was just so funny. It was crazy, but it didn't feel too, like, I guess, campy, theatrical. Like, he did feel like he had a level of realism and fear and horror, but he was also just really funny, and he was a great villain that we all wish lived into season 7. But then Strand, as well, in my opinion, is who would have been one of the villains in Dave Erickson's era, like alongside Madison, protagonists turning into antagonists. Like, I think that it was nice that Strand got his huge leading moment, and I think that they actually did him quite well. I just think the season around him makes him not look as good. And then I think that Padre is a good villain as well, and especially because, like, what they liked doing it where, like, they were foreshadowed. So, like, Logan was like a worker for Virginia. Now, even though we didn't fully know that, you know, the fact that we were always dealing with Virginia and just like a lower down level, if you know what I mean. And then, like, at the start of season 6, the end is the beginning, wrote on the submarine again, foreshadowing Teddy. And then Strand just being Strand throughout the whole of the series is good foreshadowing. And then season 7, showing like Alicia and Padre and wanting to find Padre, and then we eventually find out, you know, that Padre is the villain. They like constantly foreshadowing. So I think after Martha, really, or after Logan, I should say, there isn't really a bad villain, and I actually really do like them villains. I know some people might like Virginia less or more than others. Like Strand, Padre, they might like less or more, but I think that they are all decent enough villains. Alright guys, so this is the final point, and this point actually, I kind of thought about making this video. Like, I think at the start I said there were 4 points, and then I quickly changed it and thought of another one, and thought there's 5 points. Because the more I thought about it, the more I realised that another reason that people might like it is because it feels like The Walking Dead. Because when I was saying how people do like it, I thought there could definitely be Walking Dead fans, because it feels like The Walking Dead. Now, that can be interpreted in a bad or a good way. In some way, you know, I think it's a bad thing because it's a spin-off, but it just feels like a copy of The Walking Dead, that's worse in terms of the story and the characters. And you look at the original 3 seasons, it really does feel like something else. It feels completely different. Or not completely different, but it feels very different. And people might like it more that the universe is connected with Morgan and Dwight and references to Negan and Santry. And then kind of like just it being connected to like the universe. People might like that more. So I guess that is another reason that can make it good. Because in some way, now that we're getting like Dead City, the Dara Dixon, we're getting Summit, you know, we've already had Woe Beyonds with like Jadis connecting, Tales the Walking Dead that explain about little things. It wouldn't make sense if Fear the Walking Dead had absolutely no connection. Because there's every single thing is connected in some way. Which I do think that it should never, like I said, should never have had any connections, but at the end of the day it does make it feel more a part of the Walking Dead universe. But the first 3 seasons are just a different breed of good. But that's basically all I have to say. When I rewatch them and all that in the future, I might have more things to say, or maybe I'll look back and say, do you know what, I did not like Alicia in season 6, or I liked Alicia in this season as well as season 6. Or I might say, you know, this character, I can't believe I didn't talk about them because I really enjoyed them. Or this is another reason why. You know, I might come back and make a part 2 or an updated version if I feel like anything's changed. But they're basically what I would give the new era Fear of Fear the Walking Dead credit for. Thank you for watching. If you have any of your own opinions about what might make it good or bad, please let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.